Requirement Part B. Prepare the journal entries to account for the Customer Loyalty Program in the financial statements of 3D PrintShop Limited for the year ended 31 December 2019. Right, guys, I want you to now please stop the recording. Yes, you read right. And I want you to please briefly read through the scenario again in terms of our Customer Loyalty Program. Guys, please stop the recording, read through the scenario again, briefly. Right, you have now read through the scenario, therefore you should be able to understand everything that I'm quickly going to work through in terms of the given information. Guys, this is my timeline and this is the given info that they've provided to us. Okay, we need to prepare the journal entry for 31 December 2019. Therefore, for this period, they've indicated to us for 20.18 that our sales is 9.8 million. Therefore, we need to determine what is the points earned. Now, guys, remember, points earned. This is the 9.8 million divided by the 200 Rand. For each 200 Rand spent, they will earn 1 point. Therefore, the points earned will be 49,000 points earned. They've indicated to us that the standalone selling price per point is 4.40 Rand. Therefore, the value, the Rand value of the points earned will be the 49,000 points times 4.40 Rand. Therefore, this 215,600 is our standalone selling price of our points. Right, you're still with me? And this relates to 20.18. Very important, to 20.18. Okay, now 20.19. Total sales 12.6 million. Therefore, we need to calculate our points earned. We have the 12.6 million divided by 200 Rand, and our total points earned, very important, will be an amount of 63,000. Now, this is your points times the 4.40 Rand, which is our standalone selling price. Let me just include here, guys, 63,000 points, and our standalone selling price in terms of the points earned will be an amount of 277,200 Rand value. Right, okay, guys, they've provided us with our 20.18 journal, which I have included here. We will look at this just now. They've indicated to us for 20.18, they expect, guys, they expect 30,000 points to be used. The actual number of points used for 20.18 is 19,350. Of the 20.18 points, at the end of 20.19, remember, guys, this is when they still look at the trial balances. They identify all of the liabilities. They identify and they query, is this still applicable? Therefore, at the end of 20.19, they still expect 30,000 points to be used. And then the actual number of points used is 29,000. Therefore, there is a difference, guys. There's an additional 8,650. Now, I'm lying, guys. 9,650 points were used. An additional 9,650 points were used in 2019 that relates to 20.18 sales. Now, when you look at only 20.18 sales, do you agree with me, guys, that there is still this 1,000 difference that they expect to be used in future? They expect that clients will come and use this in future. Now, guys, very similar. I'm pretty sure a lot of you ladies do have your Dis-Chem loyalty card. You do get points. When you look at the bottom of your slip, you will identify that there is some money. Very similar, guys. I accumulate mine normally throughout the year, and at Christmas I use it. But Dis-Chem don't know when I'm going to use this. Right, okay. Now we need to prepare the journal entry. If you look at the journal provided in terms of 20.18, they've indicated to us that this is correct. They have debited bank with a 9.8 million because this is the actual cash that they've received. Guys, this is the cash received. They've credited revenue in terms of the product. They've credited the redeemed points. They've credited unredeemed revenue, which is a liability. Therefore, liability contract. Now, the unredeemed. This is the journal entry at 31 December 20.18. Therefore, this 74890 relates to the points that were not yet redeemed. Therefore, it's the 30,000 that they've expected minus the 19350. Therefore, this relates to 10650 points. Right. But now they indicate to us in 20.19 they have now used 9,650 of this 10,650 points. Therefore, we will have to recognize the journal in terms of the number of points that they have now used relating to 20.18. If we need to recognize the points that they have now used, you agree with me that we will have to reverse this unredeemed revenue of loyalty points. Therefore, we will have to debit, and I'm going to call this a contract liability. If you have used the same description, unredeemed revenue, all good. Statement of financial position. And we can credit the actual revenue relating to this transaction in terms of loyalty points. And this is in my profit and loss. But how do we calculate the amount? Okay, now we have established that this 74890 relates to the 10,650 points that were not yet used at the end of 20.18. Therefore, the 74890, divide this by the 10650. Therefore, this is the points not yet used, times the number of points used, 9650. In 2019. Therefore, once they use the points, we may recognize the revenue. And this will be an amount of 67858. And in our journal, debit 67858. Right, guys, please breathe. I'm now going to explain this by means of a longer process with additional steps, and this will look familiar, our table. Remember, I have indicated to you in our lectures that I do recommend that you know how to use this table. Now, remember, this still relates to our 20.18 details. I'm going to explain to you how to calculate the amount again based on a different method. You do not have to do this, guys. Let me just write this down. You do not have to do this. You will still be able to receive all of your marks if you make use of this method. Yeah, at the bottom, right? But I want to explain to you this method. Now, remember, if we need to allocate our transaction price, we always have to obtain our standalone selling price. They've indicated to us that the sales for 20.18 were the 9.8 million. You'll remember this. We have determined that the standalone selling price in terms of the earned points, important guys, this is our earned points. The standalone selling price is the 215,600, right? Now, in terms of the points earned, there is a portion of this that they have 1 used, therefore redeemed, and 2 not yet used. Not yet. Oh, sorry guys, not yes. Not yet used, which will be the liability. Okay. Now, in terms of our transaction allocation, remember, this 9.8 million is the total received in the bank account. Therefore, we now need to allocate the sales and the earned points. But our total transaction is this 9.8. Therefore, proportionally, how do we do this? We have the 9.8 million. Divide this by the total standalone selling price, being the 100,15600 times 9.8 million, proportionally. And this will be the 9589041. And I indicate that I will have a balancing figure of 210959. Right. But that balancing figure, guys, remember, this balancing figure, I now need to allocate to my portion used and my portion not yet used. Because this is now my transaction price. This 210959, I need to allocate to the portion used and not yet used. But we expect, okay guys, still with me, we expect 30,000 to be used. Remember, we expect. Therefore, from an expectation point of view, this 210,959 relates to the 30,000 points that we think they are going to use. But to be able to calculate that, we had to start off with our earned points in terms of a standalone selling price. Okay, so now we need to allocate that 210,959. We need to divide this by the 30,000 that we expect to be used times the actual that were used for 20.18, 19350. And this is an amount of 136069. I'm running out of colors here, guys. 136069. I'm going to indicate this here. Purple, guys. 136069. Now, this is what they have used. You're still with me. Okay. Let me just transfer 9589041. Right? Now, the not used amount will be the balancing amount. It will be the balancing amount of the 210,959 minus the 136069, and this will be the 74890. And this 74890, guys, agrees with the journal entry they've provided to us. Therefore, when you look at the journal entry provided to us and you look at our detailed calculation, it agrees. Okay. Now, we still have to answer the requirement. We've only included one journal here at the bottom. We need to include our journals in terms of 20.19. Right, let's have a look at our 20.19 journal entry. I have included my timeline again with all of the relevant details, expect, actuals earned, and remember, we need to establish our standalone selling price, then allocate this as per the transaction price. And guys, step number 3, we need to allocate the portion redeemed and unredeemed, or actually not redeemed yet. Right, okay. Now, when we look at this, our standalone selling price of the points earned, which we have calculated here at the bottom, is this 277,200. Therefore, we need to add this to our table, 277,200. Therefore, our total standalone selling price will be an amount of 12877,200. Remember, now we need to allocate this, which will be the 12.6 million on the 12.8 million, 126,000,000 divide by 12877,200 times 126,000,000, and this will be an amount of 12328,767. And this is the sale of our products that we may recognize in this year, 20.19. We will then have our balancing figure, which will be 271,233. But remember, in terms of this balancing figure, we still need to allocate this, guys. I just want to write this down. 233. We need to allocate this to a portion that were used, the actual, and then a portion that we still expect to use in future, therefore not yet used. Now the portion used is the 30540. Now guys, they expect a total of 36,000 to be used. Therefore, if we have used 30540, there is a remaining amount of 5660 to be used in future. Therefore, we need to proportion this amount. Again, how do we do this? We have our 271,233. It relates to the total 36,000 that we expect times the 30,540 that we have used. And the point used in 20.19 is 230096. Therefore, we need to include this 230096. 12328,767, and we have a balancing figure in terms of the not used. But guys, you can also calculate the not used. Similar principle that we have performed, which is the 271,233 divided by the 36,000 times the 5660, and this is an amount of 41137. Right, now we need to include our journal entry, and this is the third column. We've recognized, or we have received, guys, not recognized. We've received in our bank statement of financial position the total of 12.6 million actually received. We may recognize credit our revenue in our profit and loss, and this is in terms of the products for the current year. 12328,767. We can credit our revenue in terms of the loyalty points. Statement of, our profit or loss, and this is the 230096. Look at our allocations. 230096. And we need to credit our contract liability, which is the loyalty points that will be used in future statement of financial position. 41137.